Ni hao. Hello, it's Zippy. And today I wanted to go over a really cool thing that I found in Chinese. So I've been learning Chinese for the past few months. I've been learning it since August, and I've become in love with the language and how easy it is and how simple it is to learn. And I want to give you some tips on Chinese and how you can learn it and what is important when you're starting to learn Chinese as a beginner. And so first, I want to start with these really cool images. Um, this is part of, and I think it's an app that this woman um, uses to teach people Chinese. She gave a really cool TED talk, and I had to like look up this and understand what this is about. And it's so cool. It's basically representing eight characters, which I consider them to be like the building blocks of Chinese. The building blocks, as in you can use the characters to like build upon other characters. So like these characters, maybe apply them in like other characters. You know what I mean? So like you have maybe like fire, and you have like maybe fireplace. You have the character fire's in it. You know what I mean? We have sun. You have like a sunset. Well, the character sun is in it. You know what I mean? So for example, we have fire, tree, sun, person, ren, and then you have mouth, cow, door, mountain, water. Some just a few examples, just eight of them. But if you look at all of them, you can tell that they're very much similar in terms of that they all represent what they actually are named after. So these look like the flames. This looks like the the green of a tree. Or sometimes I think about like the branches. This is like a window with the sun peeking through. This is a person walking. I love this one so much. I love how it kind of looks very similar to like a person. The mouth is just right here. This also can mean cow, exit. So I think also like an exit, you know what I mean, kind of like I exit into like this kind of door here. But then you have door, which is right here. A little bit different. I like kind of these windows. I think of it like as windows right here, kind of like exiting the window to the door. Mountain, the little peaks, these little peaks right here, these three peaks to me. And you have water, and I think of water as like these streams, like these three streams right here, where the water flows through. And it's very just cool because this helps me and it will help you also to understand the building blocks of Chinese and how at the beginning of Chinese it was the meant to represent literally the object or the concept, you know what I mean? So all these characters represent what they're named after. Fire is fire, tree is tree. Because literally when the people in China were creating Chinese or, creating, I want to say like, starting in Chinese language, they drew these characters to represent the actual objects or concepts or things or even animals. This is from another website, and it's very similar in terms of how it shows the objects. So as I said before, sun is this, but sun started off as this circle, the dot in it, almost like the flag of Japan, right? And it became this kind of more abstract concept. Then it went over all the way here to this modern day character. Mountain looks like mountains. You can see the peaks on here. Kind of changed a little bit. Then we have the mountain that we know and love. A horse looks a little bit different right here. It became, and I think this like kind of like the hair of the horse right here. And then we had the horse, a little bit more complicated, but eventually it becomes this character of a horse. And as you can see here, these characters all are more like angular. They're not as round as they were before. These are more round, but these are definitely more angular and made up of strokes and lines, sharp lines. It kind of looks more, different nowadays. But it all started from this very simple concept that the sun is a sun. The mountain looks like a mountain. And the horse looks like a horse. So when you're learning these characters, think of it as like very simply images of the character. The sun is image of the sun, and so on. That helps me immensely when I was learning Chinese. And now you can see another reason why Chinese is easy. Right here you have singular tree, then plural forest. So you have one tree right here, right? Tree, and think about high trees like the branches and so on. But then multiple trees make a forest, right? Like in real life, you have many trees make a forest. Or in a forest, there's many trees. And you see here, this character, forest, And there's many trees in this. There's 3 trees, more than 1 tree in a forest, and that's literally what the character means. So I like how Chinese is very literal. It's very much the real deal, and it kind of gives you a sense of how singular and plural things kind of work sometimes. Not all the time, but in some ways, especially with objects. Then you have this one, I love it too. This example is great. A man, ben, literally a man or a person, right? And you have prisoner. Well, what does this mean? Is a man in a box? Well, no. Kao, this is before, this character right here, is mouth, lost, so it means exit. And as you can see here, it looks also like just kind of a box that this guy is in. He cannot exit. He is kind of trapped in this shape. So I think of it literally, and I think about, oh, this guy is literally trapped in this square of an area, and he's a prisoner within this character. That is really helpful for me to learn. Moving on. I want to show you guys another thing that I like. Chinese tones. Let me go here. Right here, this is very important to learn. When you learn Chinese, you have to know tones. There's no way you can avoid it. I know people like to avoid stuff. Please, you cannot avoid tones. And if you want to learn Chinese, please use Ning Chinese. I'm not advertising it. I wasn't paid to advertise this thing, but they are great. It is free. I know this is pricing here, but from what I've been doing, I've used it and it's free. There's some premium stuff, obviously, some premium features they have to pay for, but the vast majority of it is free, and you can learn a lot of it from just the free material. It's great, it's playful, it's fun. Even kids can use it because it's just a cat and a lizard and kind of a fun story, playful kind of thing. Learn it and use it. It's super great. It's better than Duolingo for me. But I use this in Duolingo. I use Duolingo maybe for like more my grammar, my sentence structure. But this is definitely important if you want to learn characters, you want to learn the strokes, you want to learn things like that. Plus, if you want to learn strokes, go to this one, ChineseDictionary.com. It's right here. Strokes. This is for Duolingo, for grammar, sentence structure. This is for characters, rote memorization. And this one is in the meanings of characters too. It's very important. This one is for strokes. I can type in a character like this one right here. I can literally go down here. I can type pinyin if I want to. See the tones? We're gonna get into that real quick. Tones are here. Choose whatever you want. But also you can just type right with your Chinese characters, with the Mandarin characters if you want to. Then you also have this great table here. I searched in these characters here right now. Maybe I don't know what they are. I can be like, oh, what are these characters? I don't know what they are. Okay, I'm here. Bukachi. Or they can tell me Bukachi. Bukachi means you're welcome, but it also means impolite, rude, blunt. Don't mention it from the definitions. So they give you the Chinese characters, and they give you the pinyin. They give you someone who's telling you the actual audio in Mandarin, and they give you the traditional Chinese version too. So maybe you want to learn the traditional Chinese version, the Cantonese version of it. It's right here. So it's very similar to this, but this character right here, Chi, is different because it has more characters and more strokes. But I can go here and also learn each one character for character. I kid you not. So I have this character, Bu, Bu, Bu. Literally is meaning not or not. That's a very simple one. You learn it early on in Chinese. Then you have this, Ke, customer, visitor, guest. Then you have this, Qi, meaning all these words here, gas, air. And also if you want to go even further, the traditional characters, meaning this says same, meaning the traditional characters in Bu and Ke are the same as simplified characters. But this one, Qi, is different. As you can see here, it's different. This is a little bit more simpler. This is more complicated. But you can even go a step further and see the strokes. Let me show you right now. You can go right now and literally find how to draw it, or how to write it. Sorry, how to write it. I've been using this. I have this notebook of Chinese characters I've been learning, and this is perfect. You just go ahead and you you just go ahead in your notebook and draw this stroke by stroke. It has to be in the same order, has to be correct, it has to be, this first, then that, then this. You can't go out of order with characters. But it's very simple, and I use it to learn my strokes. I learned that very simply when I learned Chinese. I learned how to write my characters in my boxes or even my notebook. And I love how they have examples right here. I have examples here, and it's so useful to know because I can understand some of the grammar behind it, like wo bu ji da. I don't know. Oh, so bu goes here. Bu goes before the subject and after the verb. Okay, I understand now. And some more examples. It gives me an idea of like the structure behind bu, the character itself. Where does it go? A lot of great examples here. It's just great to know. And some more words that use the character bu. And also you have some prefixes here. Not prefixes. You have radicals. So radicals meaning like the characters that make up the character. So this one doesn't have any radicals, but you have radicals that make up another character. Like if we write here, G, that's ka, mouth. That's part of the character. That's the radical. So the radical in G is ka. So that's pretty cool to know. And it helps you understand because character cow, which means exit or mouth, also helps you understand. Oh, maybe G has something to do with like a mouth or exit. So maybe it's related to the mouth or an exit. So I love that. Finally, let's go to the tones real quickly. Think about this with a simple theme. First tone, like this. It's high, it's up there. Raise your voice, go a little bit further. Ha, ha, ha. Second tone, rise it up. What? What? Start low, go up. What? Then third tone, it's like sharp down, then up again. So, hum. Then you have this one. No. Fourth tone is very sharp. Just get down to it. Just go straight down. No. Think of it like a command, like no, or stop, or don't. And I love this too. The classic example of tones and how complicated they are and how they can change their meaning if you use the wrong tone is this character right here, ma. So you have this, ma, meaning mother. First tone is flat. It's very flat. And you have ma. Starts down here, then goes up. And you have ba, ma, down, then up, ma, horse. And then you have, and sometimes you can also say ma. People sometimes telling me that, or I learned sometimes that instead of going down and up, because sometimes it's hard to do that in Chinese, like, it's very hard to do that because it takes a lot of time. Like, ma, like how many times you use every character, you'll go with every character and say, and it's too much work, and also people who speak Chinese don't want to speak like that. They don't want to speak like for the third tone every time. So I've heard it's also fine to just go ahead and be like ma, like very like kind of like this tone right here, but instead of being high, it's flat and very low. So it's down here. So ma, use your deep voice, do it down in your throat. Ma. So you can do ma, but it's practical to just do ma. Then you have the fourth tone, which goes straight down, ma. Scold, that's what it means. Then you have the fifth tone. People find there's a fifth tone, but there's a fifth tone, and it's just like this, ma. Your normal voice, regular, neutral tone, it says right here, neutral tone. It's light. It's just a regular voice, what voice you use for everything. So ma. So you have ma, ma, or sorry, ma, or ma, and you have ma, and you have ma. It sounds similar, but it's good to work on making them sound different because as you can tell here, you could call you could talk about your mother, talk about your horse, and that can be very confusing and also alarming and also offending. So try tones and make sure you work on them. But for now, those are my tips for you. I'll do some more videos in the past and in the future. But stay learn Chinese and see you soon. Bye guys.